This is our field and stream bench. Come hang out with us, we'll show you how we made it.
Bill Schaudt Wood Creations. We bring logs to life.
Ah, that beautiful bench you just seen. I made it with basically these tools. All right, so today, this is where we are on our bench. Figured I'd go over some of the tricks and stuff that we use. So this wood is 2 1/4 thick. We cut that at the sawmill here in the backyard. Why 2 1/4 is a standard circular saw. It'll make it through 2 1/4 in one clean swipe, and you don't have to rasper, you don't need a special saw. So some of the tricks that we do, I notch this part in, and I use a 2-foot framing square. So when this is laid out here, I lay this on here. This part of the square is 2 inches, and then that actually tucks in here. And we're going to take this apart and show you how that's going to work. Then since this is 2, I describe this. You see how this fits nice and flush. Like the joinery here is fairly decent. Now, you can't have this thing super tight. When we put finish on it, it won't fit, and we're just going to rip the finish right off. So we got to have a little bit of breathing room. All these boards, like this back board, is right around 2 feet. So they usually have a big cup in them. So what I'll do when I set this up here, it has a cup in this case. So what I just do is tack it on there, and I just keep scribing it down to help get that cup mark out. And I don't commit either way. I kind of like split the poison half and half. I take some out here because you don't want this to look all bowy, but you don't want this to look with a big crack in the middle and tight at the top and the bottom. So it takes me like several scribe cuts to kind of get that in there. And I always back cut everything. So even when I make this notch in here, I also angle it like up. So that way you're not wrestling and fighting, trying to get this bottom piece up into this notch. So another little trick we do, I marked how deep this was in with the pencil. And then I put a little back cut on here so that when you get in here, it gets tighter and tighter, and there's all these little chunkies in there. So I just taper this down and knock all the little corners off. The other thing is I usually seal it off the bottom because you could always shim it up. And this bottom piece, I usually go like 18, 20. Let's see what we got. Yeah, we're like 20 and a half right here on the bottom piece. I usually keep this height here anywhere between 1.5 inches to 3.5, and that's 3.5 there. Probably don't want to go any higher than that. Then I always put a big slope on this thing, and anywhere between like 1 inch and 2 inches of slope towards your back. That makes it a lot more comfy. And then the same thing with here. I take this piece, since this is kicked out at an angle, and basically what we did is it's 6 feet in the front and 5 feet in the back. So I steal 6 inches off of each side. And when you do that, you got to measure out the exact same mark and go over 6 inches. So say I went out there 16 inches and then over 6, same thing here, kind of keep the same angle. It looks a lot cooler and it's a lot more inviting when the sides are open versus, a square box sitting in there. I set this back piece right up on top, and then we mark it around like this. What I did to keep these edges really nice, I just went in real shallow with a circular saw and got a line. That way we're not ripping and tearing. It's not so zigzaggy with the saw. Then once I got that done, then I took the chainsaw in and I cut back in here, and then I came in this way. But probably the best trick that I have, and I made these years and years ago, are these. This guy just saves me tons of aggravation, tons of time. It fits on the concrete. So this is the uphill side of your slope. So our boards are at like 2 1/4. So I made this at basically 16 inches. So you have 18 right where the back of your knee is. And then I drop this down about 1.5 inches slope dropping down. And I have the logs cut in half and sitting here, or a regular log. I just set these down, slide it underneath, and I have this bottom piece sitting right on those. So then I can just grab these guys and shim them over, and it already has my slope built into it, and it's just not a big wrestle mat. It saves a lot of time. Then you're not trying to measure and wrestling around. It's hard to measure a round log, but those are definitely a big time saver. They're not pattern beautiful or whatever. I bet you I've had them things for 15 years, but they served me well, saved me a lot of aggravation. All right, Boo Boo wants to speak. He wants to find himself a girlfriend, say, hey, come on, let's go on a date or something. So this is why I love this little saw on a little 140. It's Jamie Dorham's bar on there. It's just great for this little stuff. Voila, this baby is done. Two things we're really trying to accomplish on these carvings: get a really nice head, a nice eye on something, and get action anywhere we can. So we have our fish kind of moving around in all different directions. Greg took his time and did an awesome paint job on this guy. A lot of airbrushing on this project, which is really fun and makes them extra special. Gives it a nice softness to it, and then a nice gloss on fish, kind of gives it a nice wet look. We did use helmsman on this whole project for the final coat. So great fun. We do a lot of benches this style with the half log, and I notched all these in really nice too. So anyhow, we took took our time on this, just had a lot of fun with it. It's for our friends Bill and Shelby that own Peaceful Valley Campgrounds. They're right behind the Clearview Mall, Butler County, Pennsylvania. The first place I ever carved live was there. I was a nervous wreck. It was a lot of fun, and then I just branched out and we carve live everywhere now, but that was my first real big thing, and everybody's sitting there waiting for me to carve something, and my heart was racing, and it was a unique experience. That was never a plan of mine when I first started carving. I just wanted to carve what I wanted to carve and have fun at it, and now it turned into a full-time job. Hey, thanks for watching. So if you learned some stuff from this bench, we'd appreciate a like and subscribe. We work hard to build our channel and having a good time with it. Gonna be hasta la vista for this bench this week.